Hello, welcome to another edition of Between Two Owls. I'm your host, Tom Price, and with us today we have academic advisor Keith Schweiger. Thanks so much for joining us today.
My pleasure.
So, where'd you grow up, Keith?
I grew up in northern New Jersey, originally just outside of Morristown, New Jersey, and then a little later in life moved to Caldwell, New Jersey.
And what kind of stuff did you like to do as a kid?
I was really into actually meteorology, and I actually kind of still am, but I always loved being able to just track like severe weather. Specifically, I loved like severe thunderstorms and hurricanes. The other types of weather, not so much, but that was always one of my interests growing up. So I watched a lot of like the Weather Channel and the local news really to enhance as much of my understanding as I could about that. But outside of that, I loved playing video games and hanging out with friends.
What was some of your top video games you used to like to play?
Oh, my favorite one of all time is Mortal Kombat. And I did just
Mhm.
watch the movie, and I highly recommend it for anyone that is interested and loved that video game growing up. But really, like any of the Mortal Kombat games, and then any of the Mario games that were
Mhm.
made for Nintendo. I also loved Pokemon growing up. I remember playing the original Pokemon on my giant brick of a Game Boy when I was in the
Cool.
6th grade. That that just gives you a hint at what my
Yep. Cool. Did you have any nicknames growing up?
So a lot of my nicknames were actually based on my last name, which is pronounced Schweiger, but most people look and see 4 consonants in a row and they automatically give up on trying to pronounce it. So I would get things like Schweigi or Swaggle or like Swizzle sometimes, like some sort of variation of my last name was often my nickname.
All right. And do you have any siblings?
I have 2 older brothers who are 6 and 8 years older than me. And then I have 3 step siblings uh, who are also all older than me. So I am the baby of the
Your
family.
little baby. Cool. Let's fast forward a little bit. So, where did you go for your undergraduate degree?
For my undergraduate degree, I went to Montclair State University in northern New Jersey. I started college as a math major with the intention of becoming a high school math teacher. And then after a couple of unsuccessful attempts at Calculus 1, I realized that my passion was not really with math, but I still loved education. I liked
Mhm.
math more as a hobby. I was actually a little bit of a math geek, and like when I would come home from school, I had a one of those dry erase boards, and I would make up algebra problems and solve them on my own just because like I loved it that much. Uh, but I pivoted gears after calculus towards elementary education. And then after some initial field experiences, I realized like standing in front of like the typical K to 12 classroom as my full-time career was not something that I could really see myself doing as a career. But after doing some soul searching, I realized like I worked a lot better more in like one-on-one situations.
Mhm.
So then I started exploring like really going into becoming a high school guidance counselor. But with some experiences that came with that, I realized that was not the right setting for me to work with. But then, all at the same time, I was also working on campus for Montclair's Office of Residence Life and working directly with college students. And I realized like my passion was really helping college students. And that led to eventually realizing that I loved academic advising, and here I am.
Cool. Did you have any mentors in your undergraduate experience?
So I would say that really I kind of navigated it all on my own.
Hmm.
My decision to actually go into advising was actually related to having advisors that maybe weren't the best during my time at
Mhm.
Montclair. And like every time that I would sit down with them, they would try to keep me at the institution longer than I really needed to. So like I developed a knack for academic planning, and like I really enjoyed having those conversations on my own with the students I worked with as an RA.
Mhm.
So that's what led to the path. But I would say there wasn't really a mentor that led me down this route.
And then where'd you go for your graduate work?
Also at Montclair State University, I decided to stay there and just continue my education.
And what brought you to Temple?
Well, I had spent the entire first 27 years of my life in northern New Jersey. Uh, and I was really looking for some sort of like cultural change, like growing up in the New York City metropolitan area. I
Mhm.
wanted to try something different. So it just happened to be a matter of the right timing that the job that I currently have opened at Temple, and I applied for it and was accepted.
Cool. And what do you like most about working with Temple students?
So I would say like my biggest like passion about working with Temple students is really getting to hear what all of their goals and ambitions are.
Mm.
It's one of the favorite parts of my job when I get to hear what our students hope to achieve after they graduate. I mean, I've heard some amazing stories about students wanting to be like the first in their family to go into medical school, to they want to work. I mean, well, remember one specific student who wants to work with snake venom to develop medical cures because it has curative properties. And I just
Mhm.
thought like that was so cool and like so motivating to hear that this is the impact that our students want to have on the world. That I'm like, I love this population. Like I want to keep hearing these stories.
Cool. Shift gears a little bit. What do you like to do for fun?
So, like I was mentioning, that I do have a hobby for meteorology that has continued into even my adult years. Like, I do spend time actually tracking weather and looking at forecasts to see what is coming up in terms of weather systems and getting excited. If you ask any of my colleagues, I am the office meteorologist, and
It's
Tom
true.
can
I can
attest
vouch
to
for
that.
that. Yes.
But I give everyone the warnings, like when we have bad weather coming our way. Uh, Other things for fun, like I do actually watch a lot of TV shows. So if
What's in your
there's
queue?
what was
What's in
it?
your queue now? Like, what's in your queue for either Netflix or Amazon Prime or whatever streaming you're using?
Uh, so I watch a lot of stuff like through Hulu, like the stuff that
Mhm.
airs on like the regular network TV. So if anyone ever has an interest in talking about shows like Big Sky or any of the Law and Orders or Grey's Anatomy. Those are three that I keep up with very regularly. Then there's others that I watch periodically, but oh, the other thing that I love, and it's one of my big hobbies, is karaoke. So I love this show, The Masked Singer.
Yes.
Uh, it's one of my favorite shows that I watch and must watch every week. So that's another one that I love to be able to talk about. But yes, karaoke is another one of my big hobbies. Like I actually like putting on the YouTube karaoke channel and just singing along to it. I
Awesome.
I will forewarn anyone that I do not have a good singing voice. I just do it anyway and
This is
enjoy it.
passion. What are you currently reading?
Well, so what the students should know, I am currently a PhD student in educational psychology. So most of the things that I'm reading are articles that I need to read for class or for projects that I'm working on. I'm not currently reading anything I would say for pleasure,
Mhm.
but more reading articles related to the field of educational psychology and how students learn and are motivated.
Cool. You have a dream vacation spot?
I would say like I really would love to go to Bali someday and experience like
Really?
the beaches in Bali. I have heard and read that they are some of the nicest beaches in the world, and I am one of those people where like my ideal vacation is just like laying on a
On the
beach
beach.
somewhere. So like after hearing about this, I'm like, I have to try these beaches in Bali.
Cool. What are you looking forward to post-pandemic state to doing in Philly?
Um, I would say like probably one of my favorite activities is really like just going out to restaurants with some of my friends. And obviously with the pandemic, that's been challenging. But I look forward to being able to return to like the full restaurant scene. Being able to go out with a large group of friends, and not just those that live within the same household as me or whatever the current rule is.
Yeah.
Like just being able to hang out in a public setting like that.
Cool. I'm gonna shift gears again, do something called a rapid fire response. I'll give you 2 words. You just state your preference or pass. Tea or coffee?
Tea.
Morning or night?
Night.
Dark or milk chocolate?
Milk chocolate.
Offense or defense?
I would say offense.
Yankees or Mets?
Mets.
Dogs or cat?
Dog.
Bert or Ernie?
Ooh. I mean, I haven't watched Sesame Street in a number of years. I guess Ernie.
Half full or half empty?
Let's say half full.
Hot or cold?
Hot.
Hurricane or tornado?
Whoa, that's a tough one. Ultimately, I would say the interest is more with hurricanes.
Cool. Awesome. Thanks so much for being on the show today, Keith. Great chatting with
Thank you.